When the Adeyemis landed in Houston, it smelled of pavement and promise. Iodell held his son, Toby, tight against his chest as they stepped out of George Bush Intercontinental Airport. His wife, Kemi, kept their only two suitcases close, her eyes scanning the unfamiliar sky. It was different from Ekiti. Back home, the rain came with rhythm, a cleansing, predictable grace. In Texas, the air felt heavy, as if something was holding its breath. But they didn't come looking for skies. They came for safety, for opportunity, for the life that whispered through embassy doors and distant phone calls. They settled into a small apartment on the edge of the city, second floor, cracked tiles, but it was theirs. Ayodele started working nights in a packaging warehouse. Kemi cleaned offices, and little Toby, with his big eyes and soft voice, started kindergarten. Some days were hard, most days were quiet, until the flood came. It was a Thursday afternoon when the sky changed. Kemi was folding laundry when her neighbor, a middle-aged woman named Ruth, knocked frantically. "You need to get ready. The storm's coming heavy. They're calling it historic." Kemi blinked. "We don't have a car," she said, unsure if that was the right response. Ruth hesitated, then sighed. "I'll check on you. Later, just don't stay downstairs." That night, the power flickered. News alerts pinged Iodale's cracked phone. Flash flood warning, mandatory evacuation, unsafe to remain indoors. But where would they go? They had no family, no transport, no one to call. They placed towels at the door, filled the bathtub with water, and held each other as the storm began to sing. By morning, the ground floor was underwater. It started with a drip beneath the door. Then a rush. Then the steady, sickening sound of water climbing stairs like footsteps. Iodale opened the apartment door and froze. Brown, muddy water surged past the second-floor railings. Cars floated. A child's toy drifted past, abandoned. Across the courtyard, a man was screaming a name no one could answer. Toby clutched his stuffed monkey, Bobo, and whimpered, "Daddy, is the house breaking?" Iodale looked at his wife. She didn't speak. Her lips just trembled. The building shook as if God himself had grabbed it by the bones. They rushed to the third-floor stairwell, joining other residents, mostly immigrants like them, who had no escape plan, no family nearby, no choice. The hallway stank of sweat, fear, and prayers. A woman cried into her phone in Spanish. A teenager recorded the chaos for TikTok. Toby sat on Kemi's lap, his eyes wide and unblinking. Hours passed. The water didn't stop rising. Someone shouted, "The back wall is collapsing." Panic spread like smoke. They had to move, now. A few men broke a hole in the roof with a crowbar. One by one, families climbed through into the storm. Iodale hoisted Toby up, then Kemi, then he climbed. Just as he reached the roof, a deafening crack split the sky. The side of the building crumbled, a whole section collapsing into the water below. Iodale lost his footing. Kemi screamed as he slipped off the edge, falling, flailing into the angry current. She reached for him, missed. "Toby, close your eyes," she cried, her body shaking uncontrollably. Iodale hit the water hard. His ribs screamed, his mouth filled with dirty floodwater, disoriented, drenched, dying. He tried to scream, but the water kept entering. He kicked, swallowed more. A car floated past, colliding with his shoulder. Pain exploded behind his eyes. Then, nothing. He came to, barely face down in water. The rain was still falling. Somehow he'd grabbed onto a mattress floating past. He blinked against the stinging rain. In the distance, flashing lights. A rescue boat. He mustered the last of his strength, raising one trembling hand. A voice shouted, "Over there, I see someone." They pulled him out, coughing, half-conscious, his lungs fighting for air. "Family, roof, please," he croaked. They didn't ask questions. Kemi had not stopped praying. Even after her throat went dry, even after her knees ached, even after she could no longer hear her own voice over the wind. She held Toby close, whispering over and over, "Your father is coming. He is coming." When the rescue boat returned, her heart nearly stopped, and when they lifted Iodale onto the roof, soaked, shivering, alive, she collapsed in tears, clutching him like a lifeline. Toby wrapped his tiny arms around both of them. "Daddy, you found us." "No," Iodale whispered. "You found me." The flood receded slowly. The city was left broken. Their apartment was gone. Their belongings gone. But strangers brought food. A shelter gave them a room. Someone donated clothes. And day by day, they rebuilt. Not just their lives, but their belief that they could still belong. Iodele eventually returned to work. Kemi began helping at a local church kitchen. Toby drew pictures of their apartment, always with a rainbow above it. One day, during a walk through a quiet street still lined with watermarks, Toby asked, "Mommy, is this still America?" Kimmy paused, looking up at the sky, clear now, but still holding stories. "Yes," she said softly, "it's America, and Ekiti, and everywhere God still sees us." She pulled him close. "We live beneath the same sky, and as long as we're together, we'll rise again."
So that clip you just watched is a fictional depiction of the Texas flooding. All characters were purely fictional. The things about events like this is they, they bring people together and remind humans that at the end of the day we are all humans and we need each other. You know, this body is just mere container. The content is within it. The content is inside. Inside this container, we bleed the same color of blood. The bones are made up of the same elements. We feel pains. We cry alike. Our happiness are the same. So, what are you guys saying? It's all containers here. Those things you refer to as skin color is just container. Inside, it's all human beings. Human beings with emotions, with dreams, aspirations. You know, Shout out to the first responders, people who did their best to, those guys are the real heroes. You know, I hope the government can. I wouldn't even say like this can be avoided because they are natural disasters. They happen once in a while. So anytime the life you see yourself living, just try to make the best out of it and live the life. Do whatever makes you happy, as long as it's not encroaching in another person's happiness and rights. Be happy, eat healthy, exercise. Because no matter how long you live, you still get to end up the same way. So how precious is life? So just live your life, spend time with families. If you're joining this or if you're seeing this channel for the first time, please do well to subscribe, turn on your notification button, and so that you can get notified whenever new videos drop. We drop mainly content that relate to Africa, history, and anything African. We drop it here on this channel. So recently I've been dropping clips, making some stories into stories that can be told, some fictional, some events that actually took place that happened. So please do well to subscribe and turn on the notification button and give us a thumbs up. All right. Till next time. Ciao.